Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into collaborative supply chain models? We're going way past just defining them. We're uncovering the how and the why,
Yeah, the why is super important these days.
for sure. And luckily, this article from Procure4 Marketing is packed with real-world examples and strategies that'll make you go, aha, ready to get started.
Absolutely. It really highlights how businesses are moving away from working in silos.
Right, toward more interconnectedness. Why is that so crucial now?
Well, think about it. In today's market, everyone's connected. Suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and of course the customer. That old go-it-alone approach just isn't effective anymore.
Gotcha. So these collaborative models are the key to making those connections work.
Exactly. They offer huge advantages like increased efficiency, saving money, and happier customers.
That's a trifecta I'm sure every business wants. The article dives into several of these models, starting with vendor-managed inventory.
VMI?
Yep, VMI. Imagine never running out of toilet paper again.
Haha, that's the magic of VMI. Your supplier basically becomes your inventory assistant, but with a serious upgrade. They have access to your point of sale data.
Wow. So they know exactly how fast you're going through those rolls.
Exactly. That level of detail makes VMI so powerful.
Fewer emergency trips to the store.
And fewer warehouses packed with stuff just sitting around collecting dust.
Makes sense. Less waste, better bottom line.
Right.
But isn't it a bit risky handing over control of your inventory?
Well, it's all about trust and transparency.
I see. So both sides are actively involved.
Totally. Monitoring progress and making adjustments. And it's important to have clear performance metrics laid out in advance.
So it's carefully planned dance, not just a free-for-all.
That's a great way to put it. Now let's move on to collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment, or CPFR.
CPFR. It's like teamwork on steroids for your entire supply chain.
I like that analogy.
So what does that actually look like in practice?
Everyone working together, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers, all planning and forecasting demand together so supply and demand are in sync.
Wow. So instead of everyone making their own guesses, you're pooling expertise for a more accurate forecast.
Exactly, like if there's a big holiday coming up.
Oh, right, like Thanksgiving.
Exactly. With CPFR, everyone knows how many turkeys need to be raised, processed, and shipped to meet that demand.
Fewer disappointed holiday shoppers.
Absolutely. CPFR helps smooth out operations and avoids those overstock or understock situations.
But all that coordination must be a challenge. How do you actually put CPFR into action?
Well, regular meetings are essential. Communication has to flow freely, and data integration is crucial. Everyone's going to be on the same page, right?
Right. It's an ongoing process, constantly adapting to market changes.
You got it. But the payoff is huge. Increased efficiency, cost savings, and a more resilient supply chain overall. Now let's shift from systems and data to something a bit more relationship-focused. Strategic supplier partnerships.
Intriguing. What makes these partnerships stand out?
They're not just basic business deals. They're deep, long-term collaborations built on trust and a desire for mutual growth.
So you're going from a transactional mindset to a genuine partnership.
Exactly, and that unlocks some amazing possibilities. For instance, think about innovation. Imagine tapping into your supplier's expertise to create new solutions and products together.
It's like having a built-in think tank to bounce ideas off of.
Right, but it goes beyond innovation. These partnerships offer a safety net in today's unpredictable business landscape.
A reliable ally to help you navigate those rough waters.
Exactly. When disruptions hit, you've got someone to help you weather the storm.
It's like having a trusted friend in the business world, always there to support you.
That's a great way to put it. And of course, there's the potential for serious cost savings. Joint initiatives often lead to more streamlined processes, minimized waste, and a healthier bottom line for everyone.
So these strong bonds create a win-win for everyone involved. But how do you build that kind of strategic partnership? How do you go from a casual business acquaintance to a full-fledged partner?
It's all about communication and shared goals.
Okay, so finding that common ground.
Right. Do you both value high-quality standards, sustainable practices? Once you're on the same page, you can work together to achieve those goals. Just like any good relationship, open communication, mutual respect, and celebrating successes together are key.
It takes effort to nurture those relationships, but the payoff is huge.
You got it. Now, sometimes you need a model with a bit more shared control. That's where co-managed inventory comes in, or CMI.
CMI, is that like a hybrid approach, blending VMI and traditional inventory methods?
You could say that. It's about shared responsibility for managing inventory levels. The supplier and the customer both have a hand on the wheel, working together to make sure things are running smoothly.
So it's a joint venture with both sides invested in the success of the inventory management.
Exactly. And that shared responsibility creates a lot of flexibility. Both sides can adjust their approach based on real-time data and market changes.
Adapting to the ever-changing rhythm of the market.
Exactly.
In today's unpredictable world, that adaptability is crucial. What other advantages does CMI offer?
Well, it allows for quick reactions. Imagine there's a sudden increase in demand or an unexpected disruption.
Oh.
Right. With CMI, you can adapt and overcome those obstacles quickly because everyone is sharing information in real time.
Agility and proactivity. Those are buzzwords we hear all the time in business, but I'm starting to see how they really matter in supply chain management.
They're not just buzzwords. And when everyone is working together efficiently, the savings start to add up. Reduced excess inventory, less waste, smoother processes, it all contributes to a healthier bottom line.
So CMI balances flexibility, responsiveness, and cost efficiency. Sounds like a pretty solid approach.
It can be very effective, but as with any collaborative model, there are a few potential hurdles to consider when implementing it.
Okay, like what?
Well, open communication is absolutely essential. Just like in any partnership, you need to have robust systems in place so the supplier and the customer can share data seamlessly.
So no more silos.
Wow.
Everyone needs to be on the same page about inventory levels, demand forecasts, and any potential challenges that pop up.
Exactly.
And that's not all, right?
Clearly defined roles and responsibilities are crucial too.
I can see how that would prevent confusion and duplicated efforts.
You got it. Everyone needs to understand their role and how it contributes to the overall strategy. And regular performance monitoring is key as well.
Oh, right. To make sure the CMI model is actually delivering the expected benefits.
Exactly. The supplier and customer both need to keep an eye on things like inventory turnover rates, stockout incidents, and order fulfillment times, and be willing to make adjustments along the way.
So it's about staying proactive, watching the data, and being flexible.
You got it. CMI offers a powerful way to build a more flexible, responsive, and cost-efficient supply chain.
But it takes work, right?
Absolutely. It requires ongoing commitment, open communication, and a willingness to work together to reach those shared goals. But it's not all smooth sailing. These collaborative models have their own challenges.
I was just thinking about that. What are some of those bumps in the road?
Well, data security is a big one. Sharing sensitive information with external partners always comes with risks.
Right, you need robust systems and protocols to prevent breaches and maintain that trust.
Exactly. Data security is non-negotiable. And then there's the challenge of integrating different systems.
Getting different companies' tech to talk to each other. That can be a headache.
It sure can. It takes careful planning, technical expertise, and the right tools to make everything work seamlessly. And then there are the inevitable cultural differences between companies.
Oh, right. Different ways of doing things.
Exactly. Those differences can lead to friction if you're not careful. It's important to recognize those differences and find ways to bridge the gap.
So fostering a shared understanding and a willingness to adapt.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the foundations of any successful collaboration. Trust and transparency.
Those are essential.
Absolutely. They don't happen overnight. Building trust takes time, consistent effort, and proof that you can be relied upon. Transparency is about open communication, clear expectations, and a shared understanding of goals and progress.
You're right. Those are the cornerstones of any successful collaboration. Without them, things can fall apart pretty quickly.
You've hit the nail on the head. Collaboration isn't just about optimizing processes and boosting efficiency.
It's about human connections, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about building strong relationships grounded in trust and transparency.
Well, we've certainly covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored the ins and outs of several collaborative models, from VMI to CPFR to strategic supplier partnerships and CMI.
We have.
Before we move on to the next part of our exploration, I'd like to encourage our listeners to take a moment to think about what's resonated with them so far. Which models sparked your curiosity?
Yeah. What really stood out to you?
And how might these ideas apply to your work or industry? Hold on to those thoughts as we dig deeper into real-world examples and explore the exciting future of collaborative supply chain models in our next segment.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back. We've laid the groundwork. Now let's see these models in action.
Yeah. Are there any companies that are actually making this work?
Oh, absolutely. Many companies have fully embraced these collaborative models and are seeing amazing results. We can look at some real-world success stories.
Perfect. That always helps things click for me.
Okay, well, let's start with the automotive industry. Giants like Toyota and Honda have practically written the book on strategic supplier partnerships.
Wow, those are big names.
Right. They've spent years building strong relationships with their key suppliers, working together to ensure quality, on-time deliveries, and continuous improvement.
That makes sense. The automotive industry is so complex with so many different parts involved.
It is. One faulty part can halt an entire production line. That's why these partnerships are so crucial for them. Now, let's switch gears and look at consumer goods. Procter & Gamble, with all their brands, has been using vendor-managed inventory for years.
VMI.
Yep, VMI.
Wow, I can only imagine the logistical challenge of managing inventory for so many products across all those brands.
Oh, it's massive, but VMI makes it manageable. They use it to make sure their products are always in stock and ready to go on store shelves.
Keeps the shoppers happy.
Exactly. It prevents stockouts, streamlines operations, and cuts down on costs. It's a win-win for everyone.
Definitely. I hate it when I go to the store and the shelf is empty.
Oh, tell me about it. Okay, now here's a surprising one. Fast fashion. The article mentions Zara and how they use collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment to keep up with trends.
CPFR in the fashion world. Interesting.
It's a perfect fit. The fashion world is all about speed and adapting to those constantly changing tastes.
Right. What's hot one day is out the next.
Exactly. Zara uses CPFR to stay on top of that. They work closely with their suppliers and share real-time data on sales and demand.
So they can adjust production and inventory as needed.
Right. It's like they always have a finger on the pulse of the fashion world.
That's amazing. So we've seen examples in automotive, consumer goods, and fashion. What about industries beyond retail and manufacturing?
Oh, these collaborative models are popping up everywhere. For example, hospitals and healthcare providers are using co-managed inventory to make sure they always have the essential medical supplies they need.
Wow, that's a great example of how these models go beyond just efficiency and profit. In healthcare, it can literally be a matter of life and death.
Couldn't agree more. By collaborating with suppliers and using data, they can fine-tune their inventory, minimize waste, and ultimately improve patient care.
It's fantastic to see how these models are being used in so many different fields.
It is.
But it makes me wonder, is there one best model? Or does it depend on the situation?
That's a great question, and the answer is it depends.
Figures. There's never a simple answer.
Right. Each model has its pros and cons. The best choice really comes down to several factors, including the types of products, the complexity of the supply chain, the level of trust between the partners, and of course, the business goals.
So it's like a toolbox, and you need to pick the right tool for the job.
Exactly. If a company has a pretty simple supply chain and a good relationship with their suppliers, then VMI might be perfect. But if a company has a more complex network and a ton of different products, then CPFR might be a better choice because it allows for collaboration across a wider group.
Okay, that makes sense. What about those strategic supplier partnerships? When do those make the most sense?
Those are a great fit when companies want to push boundaries with innovation, minimize risks, or aim for long-term cost savings. Remember, it's all about building those deep collaborative relationships.
Going beyond just simple transactions.
You got it.
And where does CMI fit into all of this?
CMI is all about flexibility and adaptability. It's a good choice for companies that need to be able to react quickly to changes in the market or sudden changes in demand.
Like those disruptions we were talking about earlier.
Yep. It's a balancing act where both the supplier and the customer have a voice in the inventory decisions.
So it sounds like each model offers a unique approach to tackling the challenges of today's dynamic business world.
Exactly. It's all about finding the model that best aligns with the company's goals and challenges. But it's important to keep in mind that no model is perfect.
Right, we talked about data security, system integration, and the importance of trust and transparency. Are there any other things to watch out for?
Well, one thing to remember is that collaboration requires everyone to actively participate.
It's not a spectator sport.
Exactly. It's not passive. Both sides need to be committed to open communication, working together, and overcoming obstacles to reach those common goals. If one side isn't fully invested, it's not going to work.
So you can't just say you're collaborating, you actually have to put in the effort.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that collaboration isn't always easy. There will be disagreements and times when things move slowly.
That's just part of the process, right?
Right. The important thing is to maintain open and honest communication, Be willing to compromise and remember that everyone is working towards the same goal.
So it's a journey, and it takes patience and a shared vision.
Absolutely. Think of collaboration as a marathon, not a sprint. There will be times when you want to quit.
When it feels too hard.
Exactly. But with a clear purpose, a supportive team, and the determination to keep pushing forward, you can overcome any challenge.
I love that. It highlights that collaboration is about so much more than just improving processes or saving money.
Right. It's about relationships, trust, and working together to create something really meaningful.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
We've explored the different models, looked at real-world examples, and discussed the challenges and considerations for successful collaboration. Before we move on to our final thoughts, what are your initial reactions to all of this?
Yeah. Have you had any aha moments?
What are you feeling inspired to explore further?
So we've really explored a lot about these different collaborative supply chain models, from how they work to real-world examples and all the challenges that come with them.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
For sure. Now, I'm curious about the bigger picture. Where is all this headed? Are these models just a fad, or are they here to stay?
I don't have a crystal ball, but I really believe these collaborative models represent a major shift in the way businesses operate. I think it's more than just a trend. It's a fundamental change.
So you see this interconnectedness becoming even more important in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially as technology keeps evolving at such a rapid pace and our world is becoming increasingly interconnected. I think the need for collaboration will only grow stronger.
So I'll move away from those old transactional ways of doing business and toward a more collaborative and connected approach.
Exactly. And there are several factors driving this shift. One is the rise of digital technologies, things like cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and blockchain.
It seems like there's a new technology emerging every day.
I know, right? But all these technologies are changing how businesses share information, automate their processes, and collaborate in real time.
It's amazing how technology is breaking down those barriers.
It really is. Another big factor is the focus on sustainability.
Right. Consumers want to know where their products are coming from and that they're produced ethically.
Exactly. And businesses are realizing that collaboration is essential to achieving those sustainability goals.
It's encouraging to see how these models can play a role in reducing waste and creating more sustainable practices.
I think so too. And then there's the growing complexity of global supply chains. Products are sourced from all over the world these days, and disruptions are becoming more common.
Like the pandemic really showed us how fragile things can be.
Yeah, exactly. So in this environment, businesses can't afford to operate in isolation anymore. Collaboration becomes essential to minimizing risks, building resilience, and navigating the complexities of global trade.
So it sounds like we're seeing a convergence of these different forces: technology, sustainability, and globalization, all pointing toward collaboration as the key to success in supply chain management.
Precisely. The companies that embrace collaboration will be the ones that thrive in the future. They'll be more efficient, more adaptable, and more resilient to change.
It's a powerful message and a good reminder that collaboration isn't just the nice to have anymore. It's essential.
I couldn't agree more. And I think this goes beyond just business. In a world facing so many complex challenges, collaboration is the key to finding solutions.
I love that.
Whether it's in business, politics, or our personal lives, working together is how we achieve shared goals and create a better future.
Well said. So we started by diving into the details of these collaborative models.
Right, all the nuts and bolts.
But ultimately, it's about something much bigger.
The human element. Connecting with others, sharing ideas, and working together to create something amazing.
Beautifully put. And as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this question. How might these models impact your industry or even your everyday life in the years to come?
What opportunities do you see for collaboration?
We encourage you to keep exploring these ideas and embrace the power of collaboration to shape a better future.
It's been a great discussion.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into collaborative supply chain models. Until next time, keep those collaborative spirits high.